meetings, prior condemnations that we've already authorized and discussed. Once a petition is filed in district court, what will happen is the court will set a hearing to determine the city's legal authority to actually proceed with the condemnation. The court will, assuming it grants that authority, the court then appoints 3 disinterested appraisers to sit on a panel to view the property and make a determination as to the just compensation to be paid for the taking of the interest. So, financial considerations, obviously publication costs associated with publishing the ordinance. There will be compensation associated with the easements that we're negotiating, and if we have to proceed with court proceeding and the appraisal process, there will be costs associated with acquisition in the court proceedings. Legal, obviously approved to form, so it's recommended that the city council move to adopt the ordinance authorizing the city to acquire permanent utility easements and temporary construction easements by eminent domain for the water looping project, and directing the city attorney and city administrator to take all actions necessary to carry out the intent of the ordinance in accordance with state law. So this is an ordinance, so we need to make a motion first to waive reading of the ordinance, and then it will be a motion and second to approve it and a roll call. So first step is motion to waive the reading.
Yeah, let me say that twice.
Last 3 times.
I'll make a motion to waive the reading of the ordinance.
A second.
In a second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I make a motion to move to adopt the ordinance authorizing the city of Goddard to acquire permanent utility easements and temporary construction easements by eminent domain for the water looping project, and direct the city attorney and city administrator to take all actions necessary to carry out the intent of the ordinance in accordance with state law.
Krista made the motion,
Second.
Amanda seconds, roll call please.
Councilmember White? Yes. Mayor Lee?
Yes.
Councilmember Hall?
Yes.
Councilmember Leonard?
yes,
Ordinance 1034.
1034, passed 4-0.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brian,
Thank you so
appreciate
much.
it. Batting cleanup.
I guess so.
Instead of 4th, you're 14th.
Yeah.
Third.
Next item relates to Rachel Brook Estates Addition Phase 3 paving improvements, which is sort of the next phase of development of that. Petition for Phase 3 paving improvements has been submitted by the owner developer of certain lots in Rachel Brook Estates Addition in the city. The petitioner requests that the improvements be made by the city and sets forth the estimated cost of the improvements, the apportionment of costs among the city and the properties to be assessed, and the method of assessing those properties. All required by statute, all standard things the city deals with all the time. The next step is consideration and adoption of a resolution for the paving improvements, and that is for authorization and initial financing of the infrastructure improvements that will serve the applicable lots. Later actions will be consideration of and the sale of the temporary notes to finance those improvements, and then eventually general obligation bonds. Again, all pretty standard, typical things. What's a little different about this is the developer of Rachel Brook Estates Addition has proposed furnishing a surety bond in lieu of an irrevocable letter of credit in connection with Phase 3 paving improvements and the special assessments, and an agreement concerning the development and all in the city of Goddard has been prepared and presented. So the analysis is the petition is legally sufficient, as I referenced, all pretty standard. It's been signed by all of the property owners within the district that would be obligated to pay special assessments. No public hearing. Again, a statutory requirement is to be held at the request of the developer. The apportionment of the cost of the improvements is 100% to be paid by the property owners, no city at large component. Again, pretty typical. Method of assessment is equally per lot, 44 lots to be assessed. The estimated costs are $1,357,000. You can see about 44 lots there that would be subject to assessment. And again, all pretty typical. As it relates to the surety bond that I referenced, Article 9, Section 1-906D of the code provides that the governing body may approve terms and security other than an irrevocable letter of credit. That's the typical method of securing the payment of those special assessments. The development agreement specifically approves the use of the surety bond and the payment of any city fees and expenses if necessary to collect amounts of the surety bond. So this has been discussed for some period of time among staff, city attorney, bond counsel. The mayor's been involved in the discussion. Sort of is the surety going to accomplish the same purposes as the letter of credit that would be typical. The developer has used the surety bond process before on the Rachel Brook Estates addition, which the original improvements were financed by Sedgwick County, so that was part of their sort of pushback negotiation. Hey, we've done this before. And where I think we all got comfortable, particularly the city attorney, was we think this works. It's a little harder to collect and make a claim on the surety bond, and that's why we wanted to make sure the development agreement signed by the developer and recognizes that city fees and expenses, including attorney's fees, all the things necessary to collect against the surety bond, separate from the surety amount that would pay for special assessments and gets added to the obligation. So again, pretty technical, but we needed to get that in front of you because it does require you to acknowledge and approve a form of security that's different than the letter of credit that's typically used. The financial is no direct cost to the city from the acceptance of the petition and adoption of the resolution, except you do have to publish the resolution. The resolution does authorize general obligation bonds of the city, and it's expected that the city will issue its temporary notice to construct paving improvements and then ultimately issue permanent general obligation bonds once the improvements are complete. Petition has been reviewed by me, bond counsel. Resolution I prepared and reviewed, and the development agreement is I prepared that, and the city attorney reviewed it. So again, the real discussion or consideration is the surety bond sufficient? If so, the development agreement would be approved as part of this action, and that's your approval of the surety bond in a form different than a letter of credit as referenced in the code being permissible. So recommended actions would be to accept the petition, approve the corresponding authorizing resolutions, adoption or resolution for the improvements. Adoption of the resolution, as I mentioned, will authorize and approve the development agreement. So the action would be accept, I think, one motion, second and vote, accept the petition and approve the resolution. As I mentioned, the resolution does authorize that development agreement. Meant to mention this earlier. Frequently, the petitions and resolutions, because they come through quite often, are on the consent agenda, but because the development agreement, surety bond discussion is a little bit different, we wanted to pull this out into new business and have this discussion.
Any questions?
As it relates to the surety bond, I mean, the protection that it gives us is the same as it would be with the letter of credit instead of having the bank back if it's a bonding company. So there's really not a lot of difference. It does maybe have a financial impact on the developer as it relates to his relationship with the bank.
Yes.
And so, I mean, in terms of how the bank views this, it's still the indebtedness is the responsibility of the developer. So, my experience with bonds, I just don't see a great deal of risk by handling it this way. So. legal counsel would concur.
I think
or-
also just given the modest size of the project,
That's the other thing we talked about.
you know, I don't know that this would be a one-size-fits-all that I would recommend with, you know, much larger projects that, you know, cause what we have to do is we have to plan for the worst and plan for, you know, the possibility of the project failing and how do we cash flow the debt service if the specials are not being paid. With an irrevocable letter of credit, it provides the same ultimate guarantee of payment that a surety bond does. But mechanically, it's probably easier and quicker to draw on that irrevocable letter of credit than potentially recovering on a surety bond. And so, but given the modest size of this project, I think it presents minimal risks. But still, to keep everybody focused on the right interests, we did insist on the attorney's fees provisions so that if we did have to file suit or incur expenses to pursue the surety bond, we'd have the ability to recover those costs over and above the amount of the bond. So,
I think along the same lines, it probably helps that it's phase 3 of the development. And if it was new developer, you know, greenfield, no development occurring, it's probably a more difficult discussion.
Okay,
I make a motion to accept the petition and approve the corresponding authorizing resolution for the improvements. Adoption of the resolution will authorize and approve the development agreement.
A second.
Amanda's made the motion, Krista seconds, all those in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries 4-0. Okay,
Craig will submit his report later in the week.
later.
I hope he gets to feeling better.
Yeah.
Absolutely. He's been watching this evening.
Oh.
Get some rest. Who knows? Maybe it's soothing for him. I don't know.
Take a day off.
Maybe he fell asleep somewhere between 7, 8, and 9. Council comments, start with Naomi, since you're on the phone.
Naomi?
Yep, I'm here, sorry. I just want to thank everybody who presented and thanks to the community who came out and consistently speaks up. Thanks, Danny, for all your hard work over the year. I'm super excited to get next year kicked off, or this year I should say, kicked off with all the fun things that you have planned. There's a lot of work tonight. But no, I don't have anything other than that, except it's going to be a good year. Looking forward to it.
My
You're
turn?
next.
Congratulations
Thank you.
on mayorship. I think you've done a great job these last couple of years, and I'm looking forward to the next two. And thank you to my colleagues for honoring me to be the vice mayor, so that'll be exciting. And Melody Ellis, thank you for coming and speaking to us this evening and talking to us about safe crosswalks. I think that's really important. And Linda, as always, we love to hear from you as well with your concerns, so thank you for that. Also, I would like to thank again House of Levine and Olson for your submissions to work with our city. Looking forward to having Olson come, and it's going to be a fun year.
You're good?
Good.
Well, I want to echo all of that. I'm not sure how anybody tonight talked to Melanie and let her go first. So, thank you to Randy for coming out and talking, and Linda as always. And just to our police department, I'm excited to see these upgrades, and just thankful for all you guys do, especially with one officer usually on patrol. So, thank you to each and every one of them. And Danny for coming in late in the game, starting late in the game, and kind of just playing shuffle. Just having a little first-hand seat to that. She didn't have a lot to work with. She was kind of just handed a stack of things that was like, here you go, figure it out. And that was not an easy thing to do. Plus, all of us in Goddard are very opinionated, and because we love our community, and so I think she handled it very gracefully, and I was really impressed to see the numbers that we saw coming today. So congratulations on your first year, and thanks for sticking it out, and we're really excited to see what 2026 brings, so. And congratulations to the two of you.
Thank you. One last thing, I'd like to also just to reiterate and congratulate Brooke on your work and your award. It was fun to look at your daughters and your son's faces when your video was going. You can see how proud, they were really proud of you. It was just a neat moment, and I'm glad your family got to share that with you. I thank you, council members, for voting into this position. I hope to do my best to serve the community and honor God in that process. With that, thank you, the staff, your hard work. Let's be careful this next week. Weather's going to get really cold.
Yes, sir.
So if you don't have your winter coat out, find it, because you're probably going to need it. So with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I second.
All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thanks for dialing in.